Hello, everybody. Welcome to Cabaret Secrets. This is Gary Williams, and we are in Brazil, and I'm joined by Brazilian singer Verônica Ferriani.
Hello, how are you all?
So glad that you could join us and spend some time to talk to us. So you are Brazilian?
Yes, I'm Brazilian from São Paulo.
And how long have you been working as a singer?
I'm singing for 8 years. I'm an architect, and then I started singing 8 years ago.
So you studied architecture first?
Yes, I did.
And when did you start singing then? And did you ever study singing?
Yes, since I began singing, I started studying my voice. Before that, I used to study music. I played the guitar and rhythm and music as a whole thing.
And was this something that was always kind of in your blood?
It was always on my life because my parents met each other singing and playing the guitar when they were 17, and everybody at home sings and plays the guitar. But all of them have another careers, so I used to think it was going to happen with me the same way. My first invitation came from a guitar player and a composer in Brazil, and he had won an important prize, and that's why I started singing on theaters. But quickly I saw I needed some background, so I started singing in some bars and traditional samba mainly.
What was the challenge for you working in theatre?
I got very nervous. I used to get very nervous. I didn't know exactly how to move my... I think I knew how to sing and to be emotional about the song, but I didn't know how to be on the stage. I'm shy. It's strange, but I'm shy, and I didn't have an idea of what to do.
So did somebody teach you, or did you just slowly kind of feel more confident by working more?
Both. I think the experience itself is very important, maybe the most important. But I started studying some things about not about stage, but about what's natural for me, and dance classes. It helped a lot.
So even though you wouldn't call yourself a dancer, and in your show you don't really dance, you move to the music, you still felt that taking dance classes helped you a lot? Yes.
Not only dance classes, in the beginning dance class, because it's a first way, a well-known way for us to start moving our bodies and having conscious about your hand, your arms.
And did you video yourself? Did you watch yourself back and think, oh God, look at me doing that? And
sure.
Did that make you change things as well?
It's difficult to see yourself on a video, but I do that. I try to do that.
Still,
sure.
And do you still see things that you...
So many. So many things.
It's funny, huh?
Yes.
One of the biggest challenges I think that we have as cabaret performers or working in a theatre, doing a show, it's all about, I think, the communication with an audience and to try and find a rapport with them through the music, but especially through the chat. How did you learn that?
It's the most difficult for me. I try to be spontaneous. That's what I know.
But do you tend to say the same things in every show? Do you introduce the same songs in the same way? Or are you saying that you try and ignore what you said the last time and come up with something new off the top of your head?
No. It depends. Normally, for example, as I'm doing this show on the ship, it's the same show, exactly the same show. I chose the best I could say about something, and I repeat that. but not with the same words every time. Because for me it doesn't work. I feel like as I was an actor, an actress, I can't deal with that.
So it's like your motivation is always the same. You know the gist.
Yes, I know. Yes, I know the mainly idea.
And where you need to go.
And where I'm coming from, and where I need to go. And I try to say something, but not with the same words. I just can't do that. I would like to do that, because I think maybe I wouldn't have chance of making mistakes. And sometimes I still make mistakes, and I couldn't do that. I could find a way for not doing this, but it's not natural for me. And I would think I wouldn't know how to deal with that. But the whole structure is the same.
It's the same, yeah. One of the things I liked about the way that you spoke to the audience when there were a lot of English-speaking people in was that you would give quite a long speech in Portuguese to introduce your next song. For example, I forget the name of the song, but the Brazilian Waltz.
Yes.
Right? And so you in Portuguese, and then for the English you just said, and now a Brazilian waltz. Now I liked that, even though we knew that you weren't, the Brazilian audience got more information than the English-speaking audience. If you had translated everything that you just said, I think, and I see singers do this sometimes, that they can speak 2 or even 3 languages, so they do their introduction in full in 2 or 3 different languages, and by the time they start singing the song, everybody's bored, because it's taken too long. Because it is a challenge talking to audiences of different languages, because whenever you're speaking in one language, the people that don't speak that language are bored, and then you speak to them, and then everybody else is bored. But sometimes you would speak more in English and then a little bit in Portuguese, or more in Portuguese and a little bit of English. I think that was a nice way of making sure that nobody's left out and ignored for too long. Huh?
Yes, maybe. Yes, because when I get bored, I think people get bored also. So if I had to say everything I had said, for example, before that song, in English, I would get bored. Music's the most important thing. I must sing. That's what I do. I must talk to the audience, but I must sing. So if I sing with my heart, that will be more important than explaining anything.
To communicate through the music is more important.
I think so, and that's the way I know. It's new for me, and I do what I can do. That's it.
And you play to your strengths, right? Because some people might be good at telling jokes or telling a story, and so they can do more of that. And for you, your strength is in singing and involving the audience.
That's what I know how to do right now. We always try to learn things and to put some challenges, but.
And how do you decide in your show in the theatre? How do you decide which songs to sing?
On the first time I came to a ship, I was invited 2 days before, and I brought something like 50 songs.
50?
Yes, 50.
Wow.
But I had some idea, and actually my show has a little of the most important songs in Brazil that had a disc outside. How do I say?
Not sure.
That got well known outside.
Okay. So famous songs.
The most famous songs in Brazil.
So did you decide on a theme first? Because when you talk, you sort of seem to introduce your show as famous Brazilian music, or I'm taking you through the history of Brazilian music or the styles. You say something about that.
Yes, but surely it's personal. It's a little personal. Why would I sing Tai? from Carmen Miranda, for example. Actually, it's by Gilberto de Almeida. But because Carmen Miranda is a very well-known figure, and she was very well-known all around the world, so it makes sense singing that after Aquarela do Brasil, because Aquarela do Brasil and Isso Aqui O Que É are both by Ari Barroso. So I try to connect one song to another. I follow a little the dates from the beginning of samba and Ari Barroso and his importance outside in the States, then Bossa Nova, then Frank Sinatra, and then Brazilian waltz.
Traditional bossa novas, and which moves into Frank Sinatra, because Frank Sinatra made bossa nova famous in America.
Yes, exactly. And then I try to explain a little bossa nova. Came from jazz chords and harmonization, plus Brazilian samba rhythm.
So even though singing a traditional bossa nova, the music is quite different to singing a big band jazz tune, there's an obvious link between the two, so there's a reason that you're singing the next song.
Yes. Then I think I cut a little the show. Many other rhythms started to appear, like Baião, and then I end with the most actual songs that people used to sing.
So you do have kind of a theme. It is like taking us through the history of Brazilian music.
Yes.
You mentioned also it always has to be personal to you, so that it's always your show.
There is one song that is not personal for me, which is Na Esquinada, and I always try to take it out of the show.
So why is it there?
It was rational for this international Brazilian show, because it's a well-known song outside. I chose for them, but as I had 50 songs, I could choose maybe the songs that would be good for me and for the audience.
So you started with a big list of songs, which you love them all.
Yeah.
And so you have a lot of choices. You can, from 50, you can find, 14, 15 songs that they're going to like as well.
I chose for me and for the audience. I didn't choose for me exactly. I think about them, sure.
What are the last sort of 3 or 4 songs in your show? How do you build to the ending?
I sing the most famous song of all times, Carinhoso. It's a very calm song.
Is that the one when you walk into the house?
That's one.
So that song
very beautiful.
is very beautiful, and it's very emotional for the audience, right?
Yes,
it makes them feel
very emotional. Yes, the most emotional song for the audience, surely, because it's really the most well-known song in Brazil.
And you come down into the audience, and that's the first time. That's the only time you walk into the audience.
Time, yeah.
So that is kind of a special moment.
Yes, because they sing.
And they all sing to it, and it makes them feel very sentimental.
It's impossible not to sing this song, being Brazilian.
And then the next song?
The next song is São Paulo Samba.
So it's lively and
fun. And everybody knows very well the lyrics of the song is about ending something, going out. It's não posso ficar nem mais minuto com você. It's something like I must go. I must go. My mother is waiting for me at home.
Nice.
The lyrics is about that.
And then the next song?
And then I end the show and I come back with a very happy song.
So you think it's important to be very sincere as an artist?
I am myself on the stage. I'm not different. I didn't find a way to be different, so I must be sincere.
When I'm on stage, I am a bigger version of myself, but I'm still me, and I think
I feel that.
And I think it's important to be sincere, because people can tell, I think.
No, but I think sometimes people make a new personality for the stage and it functions. But
you think that can work just as well?
I think, but if it's natural for the person who does that, it's not for me, it's not for you, but maybe for somebody. It can happen.
You made a great CD, beautiful CD.
Thank you.
What advice would you give to anybody a singer that wants to make a CD?
I think the repertoire is the most important. We must choose what makes sense for us. It's a way of making people remember you.
Is a CD something you make money from? Is it profitable?
No, not really. Not really.
So you're doing it more because you feel you ought to have it, and some people like to have it?
Yes, people. It's a way of keeping in touch with people that went to your show.
Do you think a CD ever helps you get work?
Sure.
You can send to agents?
To agents, to important personalities in music. I started singing with Toquinho and Ivan Lins because of my CD. They heard my CD. Otherwise, maybe they wouldn't listen to me because it's an easy way. You put it on your car and you like or not.
A mistake that I made when I was first making CDs. It was difficult because I didn't have much money to spend. So I'd make these CDs, I would do the best that I could, but the results were not good because it was so cheap, and everything was rushed, and perhaps the arrangements, they were the best that I could afford, but they weren't very good. And one thing that I try and do now if I'm making a CD is I'd rather have fewer musicians but the best ones that I could afford. I'd rather have 3 great musicians than 10 average musicians.
Okay.
Or I'd rather record 10 songs with the time that I have in the studio than 15 songs with the time that I had, because I want it to be as good as possible.
I agree with you completely.
Because it's going to be around forever, right?
Yes, and we must like our recordings. It's important for us.
And what about when you came on the ship, as far as lights are concerned for your show, did you know anything about that?
I never thought about that. I leave on Peter's hands.
So Peter's the lighting technician.
Yes.
Did you tell him anything?
No.
So you gave him a running order, a list of the songs?
Yes, I gave him a list of the songs, and he decided with his sensibility. But I always think about that. I always think about sitting with him and trying to design something for the show, but I never did that. I don't know. But it's so important. I see in your show, it's so well thought. Sometimes the lights become so important. And for the audience, it's much more professional.
But we're lucky when we've got people like Peter who can, you can just give a running order or a list of your songs and they
But didn't you design with them?
I did, yeah. I mean, over the years I've learned I try to keep it simple because there's not much time, right? He's maybe got 1 hour to program the lights for a whole show. So I try to keep it simple, but there are a few moments where I know very specifically exactly what I want, and it's very specific, and I need him to do exactly the thing that I want when the band goes to a certain place in the music, because it helps to add dramatic effect to a piece and change the way that the audience responds. You can really use the lights to make a huge difference, I think, to the show. But that's something I've learned over years, and so I will talk to the lighting guy maybe for half an hour before the rehearsal with the band and just discuss the songs and what I'm trying to do on the list. Actually, I give a little bit of detail for each song. I could just say, this is kind of straightforward, this is just medium tempo, just fade to black at the end. And the next one I might say, well, this is quite complicated, I need it to start like this, then I'm going to move here, then I need you to do this here and stop the movement of the lights here, but I'll talk through and I'll discuss what I'm trying to achieve, because So I'm not a lighting person, but I'll discuss what I'm trying to achieve with the song, why the song's there, what it's trying to do to the audience, how it's trying to change the mood, and I think as long as the lighting technician understands the point of the song, then I kind of let them usually interpret that in the way they understand.
Perfect.
For lights.
Perfect.
But you're right that most of the time we don't have to do that. We can just say, here's the songs, watch
the best way is doing what you do. I never know how to do that because I think I've never done that. And it's so important.
But I think
for the audience.
if you watch your show back, or somebody sees your show and they say, oh, the lights in, when you sang that ballad in the audience, what he did with the lights was terrific. And you go, oh, tell me, what did he do? Because on stage we can't really see, right? We don't really know what they do.
Sometimes you feel, but you can't really see.
So if somebody tells you that something really works, then you can think, okay, so next time I'm going to say to the guy, hey,
do that.
Can you do this specific thing here? Everything else going to do what you like, but here, this really works well. Can you do this? And then you may learn another song. They do something that works really well. So there might be a few songs that, as the years go by, or the more you perform, and you say, so. And I think it's nice for it to grow like that naturally, rather than for us not being lighting technicians to try and pretend to. Okay, let's design lights for a show and pretend, because we don't know. So we can say, hey, I saw this worked well, so let's try. Can you try this for this song, or this for this song? Here you do what you think. It doesn't really matter, But here and here,
you have some points.
And what about with sound? With you, did you listen to your own sound? Were you very specific? Oh, I need more of this, more of that, or did you just let the sound technician?
No, I used to ask specifically.
So you know more about. You're more comfortable talking about sound.
Yes, that's what I know better. What I want, and I used to get down into the house and to listen.
Did you find it easy, or do you find it easy asking the sound technician what you want? Because some people can.
It's difficult for me. I know what I want, but in English it has been difficult. I don't know the specific words, and sometimes I do not get so comfortable because of that. Even on the show, because it's so quick, everything is so quick. Sometimes I don't feel completely comfortable about.
Because even in your own language, it can be difficult. If you're saying to somebody, I'm not a sound person, but I kind of know I'm not happy with something, but I can't explain.
How you know your voice, you know what you want from your voice, and the relation of it with the other instruments. That's it. You should. We should say what we want, but sometimes I can't. I can't express myself in English.
But it's also, I think we need to be kind of diplomatic sometimes as well, right? Because you're saying to somebody, actually, I don't like what you're doing. Do this instead. You need to be aware that you don't want to hurt their feelings, or
sure. Because each one has an opinion about something. What I like is not exactly what she must like.
And the same with dealing with the musicians as well?
Yes. For example, Brazilian music is a very specific. Sometimes the rhythm bothers me a little. The way of playing the rhythm is not the way I'm used to. Because it's so natural in Brazil for us, and of course that if a drummer from Russia plays Brazilian song, he won't play the same way. But we know there's a limit, and we know we must be polite and
to get the best out. When you think, okay, they're doing the best they can, we'll move on.
Everybody must be happy also playing, because Otherwise, the show won't be good. If everybody gets worried about the rhythm and the
and too tense.
And too tense, it won't work.
What advice would you give to people working with a band on a ship for the first time?
I think it demands patience, because you're going to work with people you don't know and with people that are not from your country, your culture. I think the mainly idea is that everybody plays happy. That's it. That's the most important. That's what the audience will notice. This is the most important.
I think I agree. I think if there's a nice, happy mood on stage, that everybody can feel that mood, and it's reflected back from the audience, and it makes everybody feel happy and fun. Because
we are musicians, and sometimes I kind of get a little more, we call in Brazil, jogo de cintura.
It's a nice word.
Yeah, jogo de cintura. It's like a nice way to deal with things, a good mood, and that's the most important.
I think that's kind of important for what we do as a whole, right? We're trying to create a good mood in the show, make people feel good, make them feel sentimental, make them feel happy.
Yes, we are dealing with feelings. So if we are not okay, impossible to make the people feel different.
I could not agree more. Beautiful. Thank you so much for talking to us today.
Sorry for my English.
It's beautiful, it's perfect.
But I tried so hard.
Thank you for listening to this Cabaret Secrets podcast. If you've got any comments or questions, please visit cabaretsecrets.com, where you'll also find details of the Cabaret Secrets book, an indispensable guide on how to create your own show, travel the world, and get paid to do what you love.